Okay, welcome to our November GEG call. Lovely to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. And if you put the Rebrandly link with a 1 on the end of it, thank you, Michael, for testing it, it will take you to the slide deck if you want it. So I'm just going to hand over to Rachel, who's going to say the karakia for us.
You're on mute, mate.
You're on mute, Rachel.
Of course I am, because I had another window open. If you'd like to join me, please do. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā tara tara ki tai, e hia ki ana te atakura, he teo, he huka, he hauhu, tihei, mauri ora.
Thank you, Rachel. Now we're missing Carla tonight because she's in transit. So Juliet is going to be our host this evening, and she's going to introduce our first speaker. And we're going to hear from some really awesome teachers who are going to share some awesome, wonderful things that they're doing in their classroom. Juliet, over to you.
Oh, super big shoes to fill, but stepping up. Big changes in the world this evening. So Rachel, welcome. We have Rachel O'Connell with us, and she's a dedicated educator with such extensive teaching experience across all primary levels in Otago and Southland. She's a team leader and Year 8 teacher at Alexandra Primary, thriving on collaboration and with a genuine passion for all that is digital and learning. So let's give a warm welcome to Rachel. Thanks for being with us.
Rachel, do you want me to stop sharing the screen so you can share, or are you happy just to give me a
I'm happy for
nod
you to
when...
just share and give you the nod to, I can't even remember what order the
All right.
slides are in, so let's just
Okay.
go for it. I'm
So you
really
just tell me
nervous
when you need me to change.
Sure. Have never done this before and didn't know what I was up for and am up first. So how lucky am I? Carla's really thrown me under the bus here. But I thought I would share with you, this is something that Carla and I created, started 3 years ago for our Kahui Ako. We wanted a one-stop shop for our akonga and kaimahi across our schools who needed some support with all Google tools. So we looked at the Google Educator Level 1 and Level 2 awards, that we can get, and thought we need something for our students that they can work towards getting. So started to build a site with all of the little tips and hints of things that we felt are useful for students to use through their daily programs. And so all of our students right up in Year 8 before they transition to high school, we aim to have them all completed Level 1, and some move on to do the Level 2 skills as well. So within our site here, and I have linked it in here, I think, if I haven't, I can do that afterwards, but each one of these links takes you to a page which then has how to tips of doing various things within the tools. So that's our kete, our basket of knowledge. And then the next slide, I think, Donna, takes you to, so here's an example, our Drive Level 1. These are the things that we would like our students to be able to do in Google Drive. And if they don't know how to do those things, they can click on each button, which takes them to another page and shows them step by step. There's video clips, there's mote recordings, and it's really teach yourself. You don't need the teacher standing over you showing you how to do anything. So we've made it really simple for students, and they don't need to be able to read anything, so there's accessibility tools there as well. Next slide. So once they've done that, we have this Tohu Google, which is our Google Award for Level 1. So you can see the little picture there of in the centre that's got the 5 components that they get signed off, and it's got a little certificate. So as they do each of these 5 things, they complete the tasks that we've set, and then they all have a Google form that's self-marking, and sometimes students have to create or do something to show their teacher, and sometimes it's just a quiz within the Google form. If they have to do something, for example, my students are currently in the process of working through this, so in their Google Doc one, they might have to insert a picture, put a certain type of font and the size, and underline something, whatever. There'll be a master that the teacher gets to know what that should look like, and then they can check that off and give the students a secret code that they put into the Google form, and that helps to, when it marks, where they'll get their score. When they get 100%, we sign it off and they move on to their next award, and they love it. They love, we kind of tell them, well, you can't go to high school till you've got your level 1. So they go, oh, what if I don't get my level 1? You'll get it. It's easy. You just got to step through the process. And I mean, obviously, I'd prefer to do it at the start of the year where they in the classroom, but this year has completely got away on me before I realised, oh, we haven't had a real focus. So many of my students are now working on the level 2 award. So they just work through it at their own pace, and everything is set up for teachers and students. So they don't need to do anything. All the teacher notes are there. Here's an example of the Google Classroom one. So these are just a couple of examples of questions on the right hand side here, but it's pretty basic. If you've used Google Classroom, you can do this one without having to do any of the little tutorials or anything like that. But there's multi-choice questions, there's tick boxes if they have to do something, and here's the Google Docs one. So just an example there of on the left hand side the tasks that the students have to do, and on the right hand side there's an example for the teachers of what it would look like if they've done it correctly, and there's some comments on the side, and you can see highlighted as the code that they need to put in to their Google form to show that they can do these things. So I think, yeah, that's the end of that, and that's probably my 3 minutes up. I don't know how this works, if you have questions or you just go on to the next person, but across our 9 schools, all of our schools are using this and have access to it all the time for helping students learn to use the tools.
That is
nice.
awesome, Rachel.
Yeah.
It's a heap of work in that. There's not a question, but Glenn says it's really cool and he knows what he'll be doing over the holidays.
And yeah, just more accolades. People are saying amazing mahi. So ngā mihi for sharing. Thank you. I know it takes it's a bit nerve-wracking speaking into the void, but what wonderful stuff you've been doing, and thanks for sharing. So we'll head on to...
Oh, sorry, Juliet, just before we do, Glenn does have a question. How long did it take to create?
Oh, that's actually a really hard question because we just did it over time. I did most of the building of the pages, and then Carla did some of the moat recordings and sat with me while we worked out what were the key things that we wanted our students to know first. That was kind of the starting point. What were the things in classroom that were non-negotiable, that and then from there built all the pages. So it did take a wee while to do, but I was lucky enough to have 2 release days a week in my kahoiako across school lead role. So I used part of my time to do that. And now that it's been created and I showed it at a recent kahoiako, we had a few others that went, oh, we'd like to do the same. So I'm happy to share it if it's of use to anybody.
Oh, shush, I was about to say Google might buy it off you.
It was a lot of work, but the fear in sharing it out there is that someone's going to judge you and go, oh, that's terrible. But I find it really helpful for my kids anyway.
Awesome, man. Amber, did you want to come off mic and ask a question, or did you not mean to raise your hand?
That was an error on my part. Sorry.
Okay. All right. That is awesome, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really inspired us. All right, Juliet.
Okay, and next up we have Kieran Corcoran, who is a digital fluency PLD provider at FuelEd and another true champion of educational technology. Kieran is wearing many hats, both in the classroom and out doing PLD, but she is a Google Education champion and was with us in Sydney at the end of last year. So putting that expertise and enthusiasm together. Welcome, Kieran. Where are you? I can't see you. Oh, there you are.
Yes, I got myself unmuted. Thank you very much. My one's just a very quick one. Most people are probably familiar with the Prototech Maths website for practicing basic facts and bits and pieces like that. So to build on that, and so that it gave my students some accountability, they couldn't just race through it and go, oh yeah, I'm done. And also to help me track their progress over time without me needing to write it down every day. I used Google Sheets to create a wee, it was basically a workbook. Each tab had across the bottom the different stages, and then set up for the students the formulas so it could actually work out the scores for them and plot it on the graph. And what I wanted to record with them was not just what they actually scored as their number correct, but their time it took to do it. The slideshow's got a wee video there that then goes through how that's all set up. But basically what it was, the reason for the formula was Prototech gives you the time, obviously, in minutes and seconds, but to be able to plot it on the graph, it had to just be in seconds, and asking some of the students to work out what 5 minutes and 20 seconds was in seconds became a bit of a challenge. So we just chucked a formula into the Google Sheet and they could put their time in, it would convert it to seconds, and then they could enter that into the cells. And what it would show them is the blue bar showed them their number that they got correct, but the red line would show them the time they'd taken. And we wanted the two things to start to meet up, so that over time they could see they were getting quicker and they were getting more correct, and we wanted the two to meet up. It was really great for me as a teacher. I could just literally quickly glance at it and go, oh, yep, they're starting to bring the two lines together. Or I could look at it and go, yeah, no, the line's going like that and this is staying the same. We need to actually sit down and have a conversation and talk about how they could actually improve their basic facts. So it was just a nice, quick way of recording it. At the time when I was using it in my class, we didn't have the likes of Hero and Seesaw to share it, but it could be something that would be easily shared to parents and they could see in real time what their students were doing each day in terms of their basic facts. So the link that's there on the slide deck will make a copy for you of the base of the workbook, and then you can do with it what you like.
I love the way you said, just casually said, I chucked a formula in. Like, there is nothing casual about chucking a formula into a sheet, especially when it's getting 2 lines to meet.
My formulas are still pretty basic.
I love that, Kieran, because we're actually using Prototech at school at the moment, and my kids are like literally taking a screenshot, putting it in a slide deck and recording what they do that way.
Yep.
I love your way. It is so much more effective, and I'm going to be copying that sheet very soon.
Awesome.
Jordan says that she got Gemini to write formulas and debug them. Yeah, I need Gemini and me are friends, but especially when it comes to formulas. Does anyone have any questions for Kieran on that? No, that's awesome, Kieran. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right,
We just
Juliet.
still want to steal it. That's all. We'll just steal it all after the call. Thanks for sharing that, Nana here. So let's hear it for Jordan Shellcrest. She is a teacher at Rolleston School and a Google Innovator from 2021. Champion again in 2023. So another teacher with an innovative approach to teaching and learning, who makes technology truly inspiring. Welcome, Jordan.
I'll make sure I'm off mute. Thank you. I want to share with you something that I discovered through the Interface magazine, and I just think it's a really underrated tool. And while worth checking out, it's called Franken Stories. So you can flick to the next one. The idea being that you can get your students to collaboratively create a story, or you can get them to work in it independently. So it is really easy to use. It gives the kids a visual and then a written prompt. And there's some examples of ones I've used with my own kids, and we'll go through and I'll show you how it works. So you give them a prompt, and then they write. This was a whole class game I played with my kids. So we wrote the first part of the story, and then it gives them space to vote, and they vote on the best piece of writing, and then that becomes what we write to next. So then they go and they write again, and then they vote on who did the best part to go next. And so you end up with this whole collaborative story written by the whole class. Mine was the 4th one down, as I'm sure you can figure out, because it looks a little bit better quality, but the kids just had so much fun with it. And as well as doing whole class, you can do individual, which I think I've got in the next slide. We'll double check. Oh no, so then what you can do is you can export the story. So it gives you that feature at the end where you just click export or copy text, And what I did is I put it into a Google Doc and then gave it to my students, and they all went away and continued or improved the story themselves. So it starts as, we wrote this together, can then lead in so many different directions. And then the next one, I'll show you the process and how to do it individual. Yeah, so you can get them to generate your prompt or generate the image, or you can pick your own. This was one I did recently with a group of students working on persuasive writing. So they're trying to sell the cow a scooter, and then on the next one I customized it. So you can give instructions for each round. So I got them to introduce the sales pitch, and then we've been talking about the different types of persuasion. So they use ethics and then conclude their sales pitch. And their writing was absolutely hilarious. And they had so much fun with it, and they can do it totally independently. And I think there might be one more slide from memory. Yeah, and this is one of the examples of how it looks. So you get to see every student's writing. If you do a whole class game, you can see what everyone wrote, but then what got voted on as well. And you can see they're really thinking about all the different types of persuasion. And I think the last page, I've linked a bunch of the ones that I've done for you. If you're interested, you do need a pro membership to just copy and paste the templates. But you can see I've gone beyond just use the template, but thinking about what they're going to do. And then if you want some extra time on their pro account, which gives you access to Write Like as well, I've put a referral code at the bottom, and we'd both get extra pro, but no pressure. I just thought it's well worth checking out, and it's a lot of fun for the end of the year.
That's an awesome idea, Jordan. I've never seen that. So thank you for sharing. So can you talk us through, when you say the pro account, what are the kind of costs associated with it?
So I don't remember off the top of my head. I actually shared about them on socials, and then they gave me pro membership till the end of the year, just because I was enjoying it and wanted other people to see it. You can use it without pro. With the pro gives you access to a bit more of the customization, but without it, you can still run whole class games and then take that text and give it to them to build on. It's all really clearly laid out on their website though. And I may hopefully have some more things I can share around giving you guys some free access. I'm in conversations with them about how they can help out more teachers in New Zealand, because this is such a fun tool.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan, do the kids have to log in? I'm thinking about if you've got younger students, how easy
They
is it to get the kids into it?
So they do, where you have a class code, and then when they set up, they get their own student code. I just got my class to write it in the front of their literacy book. And so whenever we're playing, they pull their book out and it's there. You also can easily see what their code is as well.
Do they sign in with their Google account, and do they need a Google account, or do you just create their
No Google account required.
Okay.
Cool, that's awesome, Jordan. Thank you. Oh, Martin, thank you, Martin. He said it's an Aussie product and they're great to deal with, and he's working with them to more easily export into Google Docs. That's awesome. Thank you, Martin, for that tip. Any other questions for Jordan about that? We actually did, it's probably not a good thing to say on the recording, but we did a similar Think Right Pass activity with my kids today. And I had a couple of learning assistants in the class, and their comment was, this would be a great drinking game for our next party. So maybe I should pass this on to her.
There's a lot of
adults like to be creative too.
Yeah, there's a lot of great drinking games that end up in the classroom. I mean, it's probably the chicken or the egg, which came first. Hey.
Yeah, true.
Thank you, so wonderful. And so up next we have Amber Daly. It's a pleasure to introduce Amber. She is the team leader and digital extraordinaire from Waipakaro Primary. Amber has a passion for integrating technology, and her classroom is a sensational reflection of that. So welcome, Amber.
Thank you very much, Juliet. That was very kind. I'm going to talk to you very quickly tonight about DIFIT, which it says right here at the start, you can do literally anything for structured literacy, and I think it's a real game changer for it. It's it gives teachers the ability to upload, as you can see, articles, texts, PDFs, vocabulary lists, and then the AI generates a standard worksheet with it that can be downloaded as a Google Doc or as a form. And you can also integrate it it shares it right into the Google Classroom. I know my visual is very small, so apologies, but you get the gist. I've kind of given you an example of what they have on the general, the first one that's generated. Then from there, you can actually get student-ready resources to for a variety, and it offers a variety of templates such as graphic organizers, close activities. There's a lot of writing that you can do in there. I haven't even touched into that, and they're all able to be edited and revised, and they can also be exported as a slide or PowerPoint, again, for your students to work on. Then if you switch under the My Resources tab, it keeps a list of everything that you've done throughout everything that you've worked on, all of the resources that you've already completed in there. And it's, yeah, this is where you can also go back to something, edit it, share it, copy it, and you can see on there I've added in. These are just some examples of what I've done in my classroom, how I've used it with my structured literacy vocabulary, just journals. We're working on a novel study, and recently I've discovered how it summarizes YouTube videos. And on the next few slides, if you just follow through, those are just some of the ways, some of the examples of what comes up as extra activities for them to do. A novel study, so these are all you can carry through. The next one. And this one's just from a journal. This one was my favorite though. I thought, I hadn't used it with videos before, and what it does is once you have linked in the video, the AI summarizes it into a short reading passage so that the kids can go back to it, and then you can go back through and get the kids to, you can work on a graphic organizer for that, and they have both of the features there. So I just think it's such a cool tool in the literacy classroom, and has been a welcome addition to supporting my work and making my life a lot easier.
It's awesome. Thank you, Amber. I have to say it's one of my go-to ones as well. Like I use Diffit all the time. And I think one of their latest updates is when you create one of the templates that Amber's got on the screen, you can then mix and match it. So you can actually pull activities from other templates and kind of mix and match from 3 or 4 templates and create your own specific bespoke template. Which I think is really cool because it gives you so much flexibility to know your students and be able to prepare what's going to work for your students. So yeah, thanks for sharing, Amber. Does anyone have any questions about Diffit, or has anyone used it and got some words of wisdom to share with us?
So are you just using the free version for that, to do that kind of stuff, Amber, or have you got the...
No, at the moment I have got the premium, but it's a free trial. It expired, but they've extended the offer till January of 2025. So I will most likely subscribe to when my trial is up. Yeah,
I think one of the things with Diffit is they currently only offer like whole school subscriptions. You can't do an individual subscription. And so lots of people have been feeding back to them that the school won't pay for a school-wide subscription. Can they have an individual subscription? And they've said that they are looking into doing that. So I think while they're looking into building individual subscriptions, people who are on individuals, they keep throwing out the premium for another 3 months, another 3 months, another 3 months. We're the same member. We just got an email that said, you've got 3 more months. And if you send this link to all your colleagues, they'll get 3 more months too. So I think they're just keeping people invested in it until they work out what that structure is going to be. That's my theory. Yeah. Do you still have the link, Amber, to the 3 months? Can you?
It's probably in some of my emails somewhere.
We'll have a look and see either one of us if we can find it, and we'll throw it in to the deck so that if you want 3 months free, you can give it a go too. Yes, Martin, it's a great time to flag with your SLT budgets for great apps like DFID. And something that is really good to know, our school is incredibly strict on privacy, security, terms and conditions, where the data goes, how it's used, all that kind of thing. And before we're allowed to use a tool in our school account, it has to go through the system. And DFID is one of the few tools that has passed our system. So it is deemed to be quite a safe one to use. Robust, good word. Yeah. Andrew will answer that question when we're not recording. Yeah. Awesome. Martin's put his code into the chat. So if anybody wants 3 months, pop into the chat, copy Martin's code, and you'll get 3 months premium free.
And
awesome.
Did you raise your hand, Nathan? Was I imagining that? No?
Yeah, that was just me being clumsy on the keyboard.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's a bit of that going around this evening.
Bye.
Okay.
Lovely to have you with us, Nathan. All right, Steve, we're going to jump to you. Steve's in Alexandra, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I am. I'm got everyone? Yeah, I'm on the side of the road. Lovely little bar in Alexandra, grabbing some dinner on the way over to Queenstown to join Mr. Andrew Corney at his lovely kura tomorrow. So I will give a roadside update. So a couple of cool things, and I'm going to drop some stuff into the slides and share them out with everyone who registered to be here because I can't do it from the car this afternoon, and I can't do it now from the car park. So I will follow up with those. Hey, look, there's a couple of things that I wanted to flag. One is that now you probably will have seen this, so it may not be a surprise to you, but Docs now has tabs in it, and the ability to drop tabs down the side of Docs means you can have lots of different tabs inside your doc. Now, it's one of those things that has kind of grown from the old bookmarks, but it's much better. And if you are familiar with another product that has lots of tabs on it to put student work onto it, it makes Docs look a lot like that product as well. So the tabs feature has been something I know that people have been asking about for a very, very long time, and it's finally dropped in. So really excited to see that hit. It's been the kind of the ongoing growth of Docs. I've been using the email smart chip a lot, and also the YouTube smart chip. So if you haven't had a good look at smart chips inside of Docs as well, have a look at that. So the tabs is pretty amazing. We had a really big update to Gemini recently. Gemini, the free one, so the no-cost version, has now full data protections in it. So teachers can use it with data protections. It has also been covered by the Workspace Terms of Service. So there has been an update to the Terms of Service that is governing Gemini. The nice thing about the data protections is that it means that whatever you put in there goes nowhere. Now, obviously, being good digital citizens, we are not putting lots and lots of personally identifiable stuff in there. But if someone slips up, then there are those guardrails in there. Now, if you're an admin, you may have seen a notice about Gemini being made available to younger than 18-year-olds. So if you're an admin, have a look inside there and you will see the latest update to Gemini that has been called Gemini for Teens. So 13 and above have their own version of Gemini. There is, again, a really big difference between the adult version, being the 18 plus, and the 13 plus version, in that there are some pretty heavy guardrails on it. So we're not doing images with Gemini for Teens. We also have some really strong guardrails around it where, for instance, if, like when I was at school, I would type into Gemini, what is the best way to buy alcohol? Gemini will come back and say, I'm sorry, you can't do that because you're under the age of 18 for New Zealand. So there are some really heavy guardrails inside there. It flags all sorts of inappropriate comment as well. That is a really big one. Now, the other thing is also we announced at ISTE and at EduTech and all over the show about VIDs. There is a big update coming for VIDs. We have said it is coming very soon, and I can confirm to you it is coming very soon. Now, I'm not going to say the date But again, if you're an admin, keep an eye out for that. So VIDS is available for schools with Education Plus. The basic version of VIDS will be available very, very soon. If you have a paid Gemini license, it gives you access to the upgraded version of VIDS as well. So there's a whole lot of AI that sits inside there. So those are probably my three biggest things I'm talking about at the moment. If you are an admin and you had a chance to have a look at our roadmap sessions, you may have seen some of the amazing things that are coming out around the admin console very, very soon. And if you didn't get a chance to jump into the roadmap sessions, as an admin, watch your admin console. There are a whole lot of new controls coming in there. There are also a whole lot of new reporting tools inside of there. Last two things I'm going to talk about is we have an admins workshop. We have 2 days of admins workshops coming up in the middle of November. One in Wellington, one in Auckland, both of them hybrid as well. So you can go online for those. Takes you through kind of the 101, 201, and 301 of being a Google admin. If you have a trainer account and have an admin, you can obviously jump into that. If you're the admin from school, you can do that as well. And the other thing we're doing in December is I'm doing 2 2-hour sessions on Introduction to Gemini, the free version for teachers. So if people want to invite their staff along to that, they will be 2-hour online sessions, and we'll look at doing some of those in person next year as well. So I'll send out all that information because I know that was a lot of updates in a short amount of time, but wanted to make sure I kind of covered all the things that I'm really excited about update-wise now. So kia ora, folks. Looking forward to catching up with a few people tomorrow and loving being down in Alexandra. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thanks, Steve. We have a question from Rachel. She wants to know,
Sure.
how do you join the admin training in November?
I will send a link out to it. So there is a link that's available. You can just jump onto the link there and register for whichever session you want to go to. So I'll send that around on the back of this webinar.
Steve, why don't you chuck the links into the slide deck as well, so then it's easy for everyone to...
Rach, that's an amazing, amazing... I don't care what anybody says about you, Rachel. That's a great
Thanks,
idea.
mate. I try my best.
And Glenn had a question around, can you hyperlink between the different tabs in a Google Doc? I just put a comment in there, Glenn, if you open the document outline, you can jump between the tabs that way. Am I right in that, Steve?
Yes, you can. And I know you used to be able to hyperlink between bookmarks. I haven't checked about the tabs. It's a really good question, Glenn. I will have a play with that tomorrow when I'm having a play with it. But yeah, they do sit on the side, so they're easy to jump backwards and forwards in, and they do stay on the side. But yeah, I'll check about that hyperlinking because I know that was a nice thing around the bookmarks you used to be able to do.
Yeah, I know. We use it. I use it all the time now, but you can't hyperlink between tab 1 and tab 2. You have to click on the outline on the side.
Okay. Yep. Okay. No, I'll that's a really good feature request as well. So either add that. Actually, if you can add that, and I'll add that as well.
Okay.
Perfect.
So if everyone on the call could add that, that would help
Everyone.
Glenn
So
out
yeah,
a lot.
open a doc, go to the question mark, give feedback, and say we'd like to be able to hyperlink between tabs.
Doing that now.
Excellent. The more, the better.
Awesome. All right, so look at that. We are at 8:05 and we said we would try and stick to a half an hour. Good work, team. So we have on the slide deck our takeaway resource. Juliet, do you want to talk to that?
Yes, I will very quickly. I also wanted to check that about our Google Swag giveaway too, so I don't want to take up too much time. As a part of DC Education, we have an amazing company called Digital Kite, where lots of resources are made. It's really personalised for New Zealand teachers. And so this is a free resource that we've made available to you guys for ready-to-read Phonics Plus books. And you can just click on the link in the slide. It's like blink and Lio, and that resource will be used. So I will hand back to you, Donna, and you guys can help with the swag side of things.
Oh, thank you for that, Julia. I'll definitely get the teachers to do that. We did have a few questions come in. If you have any answers for the community, feel free to drop these in the chat. So I'm interested in seeing how other schools organise shared drives. Any tips? Does anyone want to quickly unmute themselves and share a tip or pop a tip about how you organise your shared drives? Any words of wisdom, anyone? Jordan, go for it.
I made the brave move for my school from a separate email that you had to log into, and then you could access the drive to a shared drive. And my biggest recommendation, if you're setting it up, is be really thoughtful about who gets what permissions. So in my school, classroom teachers get the most basic permissions of being able to make a doc and edit or see things. Then anyone with some sort of leadership role gets the next tier up, and so on and so forth. The other thing to be really aware of in doing that, though, is when it comes to someone sharing, if they click share and then type in a group, like all staff at your school, you then get the email as the super admin of the shared drive and have to approve it. It has become a lot more streamlined in how that process works, because it used to be I'd have to copy the message from the email and then put it in, and now it just pops up and says this was their message, this is who they're sending it to, are you all good? But yeah, definitely don't give everyone full access, because that's when big boo-boos happen. And when you're dealing with a shared drive, you want to make sure that things are kept safe and things aren't accidentally moved or deleted.
Thanks, Jordan. Andrew?
Yeah, we've managed it by making a number of shared drives for different purposes. So we've got our staff drive for all the normal curriculum stuff. We've got a learner drive to share with students. We've got a makerspace drive. So when students are sending stuff to the 3D printer or the laser cutter, they use that drive. So yeah, we've just, rather than a folder within a drive, they're actually separate shared drives for those different purposes. Yeah, so the makerspace drive is an absolute mess. Each kid's got their own folder, but it doesn't affect anything else. So it's ring fenced, I suppose.
Good suggestions. Thank you, guys. Definitely agree with don't give everybody the same access. Yeah. Nicole says that they organise theirs by subject, a folder per subject. They're a year 1 to 13 school, so departments and faculties are kind of siloed, so a little different as to how other schools are set up. It's a good idea of doing it that way too. So there's a few suggestions for that. Best practice for onboarding new staff and resources for staff. We've tried sites, shared drives, folders. What are other people doing that works for them? Any tips for onboarding new staff with resources?
One I'm talking about at the moment for that one is perfect is Notebook LM. All in there, get them to ask questions, and you've got a nice little repository. So that's my little tip. Notebook LM for onboarding new staff, definitely.
Love it, Steve.
My little tip for that, Donna, is a combination between what the other Rachel shared right at the very beginning, so all of those skills and how things work, and part of the answer is in the question that person actually asked. We've tried sites. So what we did at the beginning of every year, we always tweaked what we called was our intranet, because we created a Google site with all of the links and things and all of the how-to videos and where to find. We had separate tabs for paid resources that we had. And every time someone clicked their home button, it would take them to the intranet that had all of the links that they needed. Health and safety, all of the forms that they needed to fill out for leave, everything was on one place. And we tweaked that every term when someone wanted something added or we didn't need that anymore. So we always reviewed it, and it just seemed to be our go-to place for everyone to get what they needed quite quickly.
I think that's really important what you said there, Rachel, about tweaking it regularly. That's probably what helps keep it functional.
Yeah.
Good point. Michael, do you want to explain your idea about Edpuzzle?
Yeah, well, the reason I use Edpuzzle, it gives some accountability, so I can actually see if staff have actually engaged with it or not. So you can also add resources like Google Docs and Google Slides in the Edpuzzle itself, which they can interact with. But the reason I do is I make sure that the staff are actually watching it, and I can actually see where they're having trouble, so I can actually then focus on those kind of pressure points. That's why I use Edpuzzle.
Oh, good tip. Thank you. And Jordan has a site for her resources with her Digitech, and the senior management invite new staff to an onboarding day, and she's working on a handout with key things. So yeah, maybe those key points is a good idea as well. Okay, so thank you guys, good ideas. How to best support staff at these levels, and that was the levels were right from year 0 across to year 8 plus. The teacher fluency, that is using the right tools well. That's the big question. How do we encourage and develop our teacher fluency so that they are using the right tools and using them well? Anybody got some ideas? Martin's got his hand up. Go, Martin.
Hey, Donna. Yeah, it's a combination of lots of things we've been talking about, but the main thing is getting people away from what I call filing cabinet thinking, where they think about resources only in one place, to web-based thinking, where the resources in multiple places. So there's a combination of using tabs and documents, minimizing the number of documents, teaching people to use stars and to organize something. So even if it's in a shared drive, it's also in their drive via a shortcut. And most importantly, having a really simple staff handbook where everything is hyperlinked. This is particularly useful for the use of forms, because when people put forms in shared drives or anywhere, they get instantly mangled or overshared or undershared. So when you've got a very simple staff handbook and the link to the form, for example, staff leave or health and safety, whatever the thing is, all they see is the published link. So there's lots and lots of ways to streamline things if you have an expectation that for the most limited or least confident staff member, they can do things in 2 clicks, maybe 3 clicks maximum. And if you hold that as a bit of a design concept, the strategies will come. Very often, shared drives in schools infrastructures are just replicating Microsoft infrastructure from the past, which is chaotic and very difficult. All you need to do in any school, type in the word planning when you're searching for something and brace yourself for the tsunami of 7,000 documents coming your way. So these sort of strategies go some way towards offsetting that.
Oh, thank you, Martin. Yeah, I like that 3-click rule. Rachel O'Connell.
Something that I've done quite successfully is just created a 2-minute techie tip video that I post on our Google site, our Digitech site. So when there's a new tool, for example, Diffit that was shared earlier, I just create a little quick 2-minute video clip that highlights how to use it and explains what you might use it for, so that and then post it out to the staff so they can watch at their leisure if they want, but it's housed in one spot and kind of motivates people, and they know it's only 2 minutes, so they're not sitting watching something for 10 minutes or have to sit through a staff meeting on something if they already know how to use it. So it's a little thing that's worked for us anyway.
Cool, thanks, Rachel. And I love Isabel's tip about giving people time in staff meetings to teach them and allow them time to practice with tools. That's a really helpful thing to do as well. Awesome. And then the last question was around using forms for year 1s and Seesaw. We weren't 100% sure if we meant Google Forms in Seesaw or whether we meant the Seesaw itself now has self-marking questions within it. So we might come back to that one next time. I don't think the person who asked that question is on the call, unless anybody wants to add something to that one.
No, I was going to research that, but I just couldn't find it. But the way now that I'm reading it again, I think it sort of reads that it's talking about within Seesaw, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it might be that self-marking, which you need Seesaw for schools to be able to access that. Okay, so we might come back to that one. As always, we love your feedback, and Steve has promised some Google swag for people who fill out the feedback. So if you click on the rebranding link, which does take you, if you're on the slides, to the feedback form, or if you scan the QR code, it will take you there. We will give you a minute or 2. Yes, I love that, Martin. Less or 0 screen time for year 1 kids would be your recommendation. That's a great one. We'll give you a couple of minutes to fill that out. Then I'm just going to copy your names. We did put a name section this time. And we'll put it into a spinner and we will share some Google swag for people who take a minute to give us their feedback. So if you want to just do that, that would be awesome. Rachel or Juliet, I'm actually in a different account to record this. So if one of you would like to jump into the form and copy down the names, it was shared with you in the chat, in the group chat. Rachel, I can see her face. She's thinking, where do I find this form? Isabel, don't worry if you miss most of the chat. This is recorded and we will post the link to the recording. If you want to access the slide deck, if you pop in, we'll share that out as well. But if you pop in rebrand.ly/GEG-NOV1, put a 1 on the end, that will take you to the slide deck. And it's linked in the chat as well. So you can grab it from the chat.
Okay, so we have got responses from Nicole, Glenn, Sarah, Martin, Jordan. Do you want me to get these names to you, Donna, to put them in the?
Can you just copy them and throw them into a? Actually, let me hang on because I'm.
Yep. What do you
and
want
then
me
I can start sharing and you can share, and we can spin the wheel. Have you got a wheel of the name spinner quickly?
No, but you have, yes, so I'll put them in the chat.
Okay. If you put them in the chat, I'll copy them.
Jesus, Corny, you just hold on. Corny's just done his. I'm just getting it.
Oh, there's always one.
Yeah. Okay, chat.
All right.
Cheers, Martin. There.
Right. So I am copying those. And I will put them into, I think we should, Warnie, didn't you win something last time? We should, here we go.
Yeah, take him out.
Take him out. All right, so I'm going to share this tab instead. All right, so are you guys seeing my wheel of names?
Yes.
I've gone full screen. Yes, you are?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. We're going to spin 3. So the first winner is, oh, it's close, Amber. Well done, Amber. So there will be some Google swag coming your way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our second winner is going right to the edges, Nathan. So there is some swag coming to you, Nathan. And our last winner is Martin. And those are our 3 winners for this month's draw.
Hey, and for those people who won, no, a couple of them are gone, so I don't know what are you talking about. But if you can just email me with your address, I can send some swag to you.
Awesome. We'll follow up on that, Steve, and maybe email them if they've left and let them know to contact you.
So nice.
Okay. Awesome. So that is us for this month, team. So thank you for joining us. It's been great to have you here. And if I come back to the slide deck and share this tab instead, I'm loving these new.
Sorry, I picked up your phone. I was having dinner with China.
And Rachel, can we hand over to you for the closing karakia?
Yep, sweet. Sorry, just had to mute you, Steve.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was Steve.
Was that me? Sorry, apologies.
That's all right. Kia whakairia te tapu, kia wātia ai te ara, kia turuki whakataha ai, sorry, I was laughing at Steve. Kia turuki whakataha ai, haumie, huie, tai kie. That's what happens when you're at a pub.
That's right.
I'll stop the recording on that note.
Mm-hmm.